That's the latest from Radio News Hub. I'm Johnny Holmes.
Well, good evening. I don't think that's going to work, is it? Hold on a minute. Let's see if this will just do this. There we go.
Radio 106.9.
We'll start now. Good evening and welcome to Hull and Back podcast with Tiger Talk here on Humberwave Radio and on to Hull and Back podcast. Evening to you, Jan.
Good evening.
Evening, James.
Good evening.
Evening, Chris. Good to have you back.
Good evening. Good to be back as well. Thanks.
Been skiving. Evening to you, Paul.
Evening.
You know all about skiving because you skived as well earlier on the season. I mean, Jan is just, a trooper through and through. When she went on holiday, she took a laptop with her. She tried to get online and she did manage it a little bit. You, Paul, just left it at home and thought, no, I'm not coming on.
I thought you said that lap dancer with you, and that's where I went wrong.
Right, okay. And is that what you took with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tracy will be happy to know that. Evening to you, Lee. And it is lovely to have 3 points on Saturday evening to you as well, Marsh. Good to have you along tonight. Good to have you watching or listening or whatever you're doing. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do. You can get in touch on WhatsApp 01482 772 663. They drop right into me here. Or you can just comment on whatever format you're watching us on, whether that be Facebook, YouTube, or X. We'll call it X and use the proper name for it now. So I've just got to say good evening to Mike. He's from the carmustgo.co.uk and he's thinking about sponsoring the podcast. I mean, why you would even think about sponsoring a podcast with me on it, I've no idea, Mike. But, good luck to you if you do. I'm sure you'll enjoy it if you do. So good evening to Mike. He's from the carmustgo.co.uk. How are we all feeling after a win at the weekend then, Jan?
Marvellous, absolutely. It makes your weekend, doesn't it? It either makes your weekend or ruins it. So yeah,
it does.
Good. Yeah, absolutely.
It does.
Yeah.
What didn't make my weekend was the rain. And the rain was absolutely torrential on Saturday. And I've got a Hull City coat bought from Tiger Leisure. It wasn't bought from a dodgy site in Turkey or anything like that. And I found out that it's not waterproof. How good's that? I had a wet nipple for most of the afternoon on Saturday.
Picture that.
I know. Picture that, Jan. I mean, and then I got home and every part of me was wet apart from, listen, Jan, you might want to shut your ears here, but apart from my underwear, that was the only thing that managed to stay dry on that walk home from Hull City at the weekend. It was so bad, wasn't it, James?
It was awful. I thought, what a weekend for Giovanni to return to Hull here. I bet he's not really used to that kind of thing in Brazil, but there we go. Unless, of course, he takes a walk out into the Amazon. But, fortunately for me, I got a bit of a chance to dry off in the pub after the game. So by the time I got home, I was a bit all right.
Well, I came home and got changed straight away because I was going out to meet mate for tea in the pub and I thought I best dry off. So I just got a full change of clothes and went out to the pub after the game. And, yeah, it was good to go out after a win feeling happy. Chris, we hadn't had you on for a couple of weeks. How did you feel?
Well, to be honest with you, I think you're all a bit soft. Who cares about a bit of rain after a performance like that?
No, probably not. Listen, I didn't say I cared about it. I said I was just drowned. I was soaked to the skin, and I would expect that a coat that I've bought would keep me dry. But I'm going to have to get the big boy out next time it rains like that and really try and keep dry. Paul, was you wet to your underpants or was your underpants soaked?
Mine was dry, to be fair, but I was soaking. Yeah, I had to change. And lucky for me, I had to take the dog out when I come home. So that's real luck, isn't it, when you're been soaked? I had to change everything just about. So, yeah, it was terrible. But the display made it a lot happier, didn't it, getting wet for?
It did,
That was the
it
main
did make
thing.
it a lot better. And Simon, you say evening. Will Carl Joseph get some praise? I think Carl Joseph is set for quite a bit of praise, especially from Mark Waters. I'm not sure what you think, Paul.
I think, he works hard, doesn't he? I think one of the things I like about him, I think with him not being a winger, he seems to come in a little bit, and that allows Giles to go on the outside. And that's a bit of a worry, man, when we get actual wingers sort of in that position. If we do, are they gonna stop Giles getting down the outside? But I thought he had a real good game. He puts 110% effort in, and he's on the wing, but he's there for the saved by the keeper and just sort of knocks it in. They all count no matter how you put them in. And he was Johnny on the spot, which is what we want him to do. I hope it gives him a bit of confidence. And I think it helps McBurnie because, he does put a lot of effort in, a lot of, chasing down and all this. Maybe makes it a little bit easier for McBurnie. But one person I want to give a shout out to, Destan. I thought when he came on, he looked really good. His control was good. He didn't mind getting stuck in. He won 2 or 3 headers. Obviously McBurnie's going to be number one, but obviously I don't want him to be injured or suspended, but it's possible over the season one or the other's going to get, in. Yeah, you're right there, Ian. It is living the good life. And if he does, I think Destan, an able replacement on his 20 minutes on Saturday because he put himself about, got plenty of headers, and his control was really good. So I think we've got a player there, to be quite honest. I'd say Joseph did have a good game. All the knockers of him over the last few weeks probably ate the words a little bit on Saturday because he played well.
I agree with what Oliver says there in chat. He says that Sergei's tactics were way better than Will Still's, and he's right. He's got his tactics more or less bob on, hasn't he? It's some great counter-attacking football, as Oliver says there, and I really like this attacking. This attacking style that we've got, and the thing that we've got totally different from last season is you always think we're going to score at some point, don't we, James?
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter whether or not we're away from home or at home. I think we always constantly look an attacking threat. And, I think that's all you want as a home fan going to the games. That's the big difference between this season and last season. We might not win every game, but at least we're always going to at least probably score a goal and we're going to get up the pitch and actually go at teams. And, at least give you something to get out of your seat. I apologise if you can hear the dogs. They're going a bit mad at the minute.
Don't worry.
But yeah, it's so much better as a home fan going to the stadium at the moment because you're looking forward to the games and seeing the team progressing as they are. And like you're saying, I mean, Will Still after the game came out and said that he felt like, Southampton controlled the majority of the game and this, that, and the other, and didn't really give us any props or a bit of a mention at all. But considering the performance we actually had with only, what would it turn out to be, 29% possession or something like that. I mean, any day of the week, I would trade that kind of football that we had 2 seasons ago for what we have now. And I much prefer going to the stadium on a match day now.
I agree with you. I do. I just think at the moment it seems a little bit flat, does the atmosphere still? I think we're still a little bit nervous as fans at the moment. What do you think, Jan?
It's always like that, isn't it? I was trying to think back to when the last time we had a really, really good atmosphere. I mean, I know the players go on X and all of that and say, "Oh, thank you." The stadium was rocking, and I thought, well, I don't think it was. I mean, and certainly where we sit, because the miserable lot stand into it in the West Stand. But
well, you said it, not us.
No, well, it's true. It's true. I mean, I'm one of them, but at least I try and sing, but on my own. But I just.
That's why it was raining all day on Saturday then.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, probably. And for the rest of the week, probably, if I've been singing. But honestly, when they do start to press and go forward, the crowd does start to get going, doesn't it? And then when we sort of drop off a little bit and that. But, I mean, that's when they need us, I think. So, like in the second half, the first 10 minutes or so, the second half, it was all Southampton, wasn't it?
And I think we did start to get behind them a little bit in the times that they needed it. I think that we're just not... We don't tend to be vocal all the game long. No, and as Louise puts right in chat there, it was 3-1 to the library was singing to Southampton. And that was quite a funny chant that they did there. And I think that, we just need to try and build that atmosphere up a bit. We've got to know now that we're in a different position to what was last season, and we do have a chance of scoring a goal, which last season was really our Achilles heel, was scoring goals. So, to get 3 goals in a game, even Paul nearly accepts 3 goals in a game. You like 4 though, don't you, Paul?
Yeah, by half time usually, just to sort of make it safe-ish. But
yeah, I think I think ultimately it's that situation of just trying to get behind the team a little bit more and trying to make it a bit more like the away games, because they never stop singing through the away games. So we just need to do a little bit more at home of that and try and get behind the team a little bit more, because ultimately, that display on Saturday for me deserved it. I want to give a shout out tonight to Ryan Giles, because I think if we play him in the right place and we give him the backup that he needs, he's going to be a formidable force for the team this season. Also, another shout out to his fellow back, let's call him the right back, Louis Coyle. What a game he had on Saturday. And has that knocked some of the doubters, do we think, Chris? Are they still going to be there?
I think some people are always going to doubt Coyle. We've discussed it before, haven't we? He's one of them where we know he's going to try and run through a brick wall for you. He has lost that little bit of pace over the last couple of years. I think that's obvious for everybody to see, but his determination in every game, and he's always there, isn't he? Always offering himself, often on the overlap or a safety pass, and it's those passes where a winger or a forward knocks it back to him, usually where he's putting them crosses in, and you'd probably say about 70-80% of the time he's finding someone, or it's putting it into a good area of the pitch where someone can attack it. So, unfortunately, I think every player is going to have his haters, if that's what we want to call it. But yeah, I think Coyle's, a very consistent player. Someone that you certainly want in and around the team. Maybe he just isn't, for me, he just isn't, quite vocal enough at times as a captain, but he does lead by example of his work rate. So
I agree with you there, and I did say that I'd maybe try and get somebody else as captain on the field. I'd have him as my club captain all day long, but I would like somebody a bit more vocal. Probably not McBurnie, because he might get sent off every game, but maybe Lundstrom or something like that would be good, because he's a bit more vocal, and I think that's Coyle's probably his weakness. But really good crosses into the box, and he's maybe lost, as you say, he's maybe lost a little bit of pace there. But if he crosses the ball at the point that he did do on Saturday, then he's going to cause problems as well, isn't he, James?
Yeah, I noticed that he's taking crosses a lot deeper in the pitch at the moment, and I feel like that may be a little bit Ryan Giles' influence on his game to an extent, because I think in the past when Coyle was sort of, bombing forward and he actually was getting up the pitch, he used to usually kind of take the ball to the byline and then give it across. But I mean, quite often, especially like say when he was a bit under form last season, the ball would sort of tend to go over everyone and go a bit too far. He'd never really pick anyone out, especially, I mean, quite often we didn't have anyone actually attacking the box, to be fair, for him to pick anyone out. But I mean, both his crosses are absolutely pinpoint, and you can see him after he takes that cross to McBurnie's head, where he's like kind of waving his fist in the air as if he knew how good the cross was as soon as he made it, and it was like he just knew in that moment like there's something's going to come from this now, and it's good to just see him back at his best, and like you say, proving the doubters wrong, and getting back to his best form. And as you say, I completely agree with the comments, and I've always said that I think we need someone who's a bit more vocal on the pitch to be the captain, because whilst he probably is seen as the leader in the dressing room, I think at the end of the day, whilst he's out there on the grass, he's not, unfortunately, just never sort of really taking the game by the scruff of the neck, which is sometimes what I think we need from a captain.
I think my thoughts more of the thing is to get around the referee a bit more, because we don't seem to get as many decisions as other teams, and I think that's because the way that they get around the referee. If it's somebody in midfield, they're close to the referee quite a lot of the time, so they can talk to him. But then if somebody in the midfield's trying to talk to him, he don't like it if they're not the captain, and he can tell them to not talk, else he's going to give them a card. So that's always my feelings on it. I think it's always difficult to to get everything right, and to get the the captain's thing and be vocal and in the referee, and trying to gain that extra. I don't know, if you get 2% extra out of the referee, that could win you a game in today's way, the way that games are played these days. What do you think, Jan?
I mean, I'm a big Coyle fan, so I'm sick of hearing all the criticism of Coyle. Stop the cross. He only has to miss one cross, and it's all over social media. And I repeatedly keep saying the central defenders miss loads, but nobody criticises them, and they really. They're just as bad as Coyle is. I'm a Coyle fan, and I'm quite happy that he's back in. I agree what you say about being vocal. But the other person I don't think is vocal is the goalkeeper as well. I don't think he's shout. You never really. Actually, to be fair, we did on Saturday because we said, blimey, was he shouting them? But he never, shouts for the ball or directs or anything like that. He's another one. Maybe we're just not a very vocal team. I don't know.
Well,
I think it cost us the goal, to be honest. I think it cost us the goal him not being vocal because Giles had a bit of time. If the keeper says you've got time, he could have brought it down. He didn't have to edit. His header wasn't the best, but I did the same with Charlie Hughes when we give that goal away. It is his lack of vocalness in the goal that isn't helping, I don't think. But it is as it is. I think we've got one or two at Lundstrom. McBurnie will get in the referee's face, won't he? He's quite happy having a little chat with him. He doesn't go in too mad, but he does have a little chat with him. I noticed on Saturday he had a couple of words with the referee. So I think we have got other people on the pitch who will say something. But
I think there is.
I'd have to disagree with that a little bit. I sit in the south stand, and you can hear Panda and the two centre backs communicating. Where often. Granted, not all the time, but you can hear them talking, telling them where runners are and, things like that. So, but on the vocal thing, how good has Lundstrom been? When we spoke about this a few weeks ago, I said I would never give a lone player a captaincy, but he has been really impressive. Sometimes talking to the referee, but I'm thinking more directing stuff on the pitch when especially the younger players, like when Darko came on and he obviously played in the 10, which he's not too familiar with, and he's pushing him 5 yards, 6 yards, 10 yards into positions where he'd be able to cover if things break down, or obviously more on where the manager wants people positionally on the pitch at certain times. So he's been a massive influence, I think, particularly on Saturday. It was so obvious what he was doing and how he was playing a part in the team performance.
And as Lee says there, Lee Smith says, subbed off the full midfield, strength in depth. It is nice to see a little bit more strength in depth, Paul, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I think we've got two players for probably every position, to be quite honest. Not about the keeper, maybe, I don't know. But, the other positions I think we have. I think, Darko, I thought he had a good game. After the first 10 minutes, he seemed a bit like a duck out of water. But once he got into the game, I thought he had a really good game. I think the whole team did well. I wouldn't say anybody had a poor game on Saturday. We did well, and it proved it with the result. That 10 minute spell after half time, it was a bit worrying, but we got over that. And to be fair, we could have had another goal or two. I think Darko's had one blocked, hasn't he? So it was a good display. I don't think there was anybody played poorly in the team, realistically. And that's probably
I agree. I agree. It was a good result. It's nice to get a good convincing win at home, and nice to be talking about a win here on Tiger Talk on Total Back Podcast and Humway Radio. Don't forget that you can get in touch with us. You can WhatsApp us on 01482 772 663, or just comment on the particular way that you're watching us tonight. It's good to have you tuned in. And there's been a little bit of a teasing and a little bit of a leak. That there may be a new kit revealed, and apparently the club have now teased it to say that it could be happening at 10 o'clock in the morning, been revealed on the official account. Do we need a third kit, Jan?
I don't know. Do we? I don't know. I think there's sufficient difference between the first kit and the away kit. But it's about money, isn't it? It's not about whether you need it, is it? I guess it's about bringing coppers into the club. And I'll not be buying it because I don't wear them, but I guess John will. Yeah.
Could we have played in the black kit away at Watford on Saturday? Would it have been a big enough difference, James, for them not to have to bring out a third kit before Saturday?
Watford's kit's quite similar, isn't it? I think with the presence of quite a bit of black on their kit as well, it'd probably be clashing a bit too much, especially for the players on the pitch. So, definitely if it's what we've seen to be teased, it'll contrast enough for the players to actually know where each other are on the pitch. So I think it'll definitely benefit us wearing the third kit.
If we're lucky, we might get that tease somewhere on the podcast tonight. I don't know whether my man in the background is working and going to get that up for us, but we'll see a little tease of what the kit may look like. There may be a slight change to what's actually teased here, but it'll be something close to it. I don't know if I've sent it to you, Chris, but I've sent it to you, Paul. What do you think to it?
Yeah, I don't mind it, to be quite honest. Yeah, if, there's supposed to be a couple of changes or possibly changes, so I have to wait and see for them. But looking at it, it looks all right. Yeah, I mean, are they going to use it that often? They don't. I don't think the third kit's do. So unless it's lucky, we go there and have a real good win. They might use it every away game. Like
they might do. Yeah, it's that sort of thing, isn't it? Wear your home kit, your away kit at home because you're winning more in your away kit. It's anything that can help, we'll take, won't we, Chris?
Absolutely. So the only thing I've seen on this teaser is what the club have put out with it's clearly a blue square, and it's got almost like that slightly different tone of blue tiger stripe to it. So I'm guessing it's going to be similar to the full orange kit from last year, but in blue, because that had that little contrast in, didn't it?
I can probably show, if we can't get it on the screen, then that might just give you a little idea of what. Oh, there we go. It's on the screen as well now. So that is what we're teased as getting, but with a couple of changes to it. That could be the away kit, which I don't mind it. Lots of people have said it's hideous, but I don't actually mind it, to be quite honest with you. And if I can't get one of them away kits because they're doing that silly thing where you had to pre-order it by a certain date and all that, then that might be what I end up buying is the third kit instead of the away kit. So. Yeah, it is money making. I agree with what you're saying. I think it's that thing of like they're always trying to get the extra money into the club. And do I think there should be 3 shirts every season? No, I don't. But is every other club doing it? Yeah, they are. So I think, they're just trying to keep up with everybody else, to be quite honest with you. And, it also gives us something else to talk about on the podcast, doesn't it, James?
It does, but I mean, I think we're forgetting as well, the club also tends to be releasing at the moment quite frequently the retro kits as well. So not only are you going to have free kits to buy the players are going to be wearing, but also the re-releases. So I mean, it's it's going to hit me in the wallet, that's for sure.
And then the odd retro tracksuit. Yeah. If they do make changes to it, like I said earlier, I don't really like the amber trim around the blue kit. So I think I'm hoping that that's what they change, and I will definitely be buying it if that is the case.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's it. There is so many things to buy. I mean, Lee Walker buys nearly every one of them, so I mean, he must just go to work to buy Hull City tickets and Hull City merchandise, to be quite honest with you, because the amount that he gets is absolutely out this world. Amir is what I'm going to say. He's looking like a good signing. He's still adjusting to the league, but I think that, he played very well on Saturday, and I thought, he made a bit of difference. And I think at the moment, because we've got a few of these players in late in the transfer window, some of them are just starting to gel, maybe even get fitness and stuff like that. What do you think, Jan?
Yeah, I thought he had a really good game. I mean, the one I didn't, and I know everybody disagrees with this, so I'm probably wrong. I didn't think Darko had a very good game. And I heard what Paul said, the first 10 minutes or so, it was like a duck out of water. But I just thought it weakened us. But everything else I've read, everybody else thought it was marvellous. So maybe.
Chris says that he felt that Darko looked a bit lost and unsure in the attacking role, but when he was moved deeper, it looked like a totally different player.
Possibly.
And I agree.
Possibly.
He did grow. It was a grow into the game situation with Darko, and I think he's one I think that has got to settle in and try and get into the into the team and get used to how we're playing and stuff like that. And
as I
carry on.
I was carrying on. Yeah. So I mean, as I keep saying, it's early doors for all of them, isn't it? Because last week we actually were criticising Lundstrom, weren't we, saying that he was a bit lost and whether it was the partnership in the midfield when he was with Slater. So, I mean, he did have a really good... I agree, I don't think anybody had a bad game on Saturday. But I just think it is early doors to see. I mean, I did think that Destin was going to set a record and get sent off. When he... I thought, good grief, he's going to... I said to John, he's going to punch him here. I'm sure, I was convinced he was going to. So it's too early yet, really.
I wouldn't fight with him either because he looks like a
absolutely,
big
I
lad.
wouldn't.
He looks
but
like
equally,
a really
I would
big
have
lad.
played in that weather either. I'd have said to Sergio, I'm quite happy sat here on the bench. Don't worry about sending me on in that weather.
Well, they get well paid for playing in that weather. And I think that Amir playing in the position that he did and allowing Lundstrom to be a bit further up the pitch was probably giving Lundstrom a bit more, freedom and maybe giving him a bit more ability to get up the pitch. And obviously he scored the goal through that. So that's
probably won't see a goal at City this year than that goal. It was a really good goal. Well taken.
Really, really well worked.
He just side-footed it past the keeper. Real cool in front of goal. It was a really good goal, I thought, from a team point of view. So, he looked a lot better on Saturday, did Lundstrom. Maybe, as you say, Jan, it was the midfield pairing. He felt a bit happier. You don't know.
Yeah, I read something. I mean, the Sheffield United fans are happy that we've got McBurnie and Lundstrom was from there. And they were saying, what's Lunny doing that far up the pitch? He never plays that far up the pitch. But again, that could be Sergio then, couldn't it? And
I think you've got to give the manager credit for Saturday's performance because
100%,
when you look at that and you look at the performance that we're put in and how he's got the players linking well together, he seems to have the understanding of the players more than what we've maybe had in the last season, and they're sort of buying into what he wants to do. So it's good to see the players buying into it, but also give Sergei a lot of credit for what he's doing because that performance comes from what he's doing on the training pitch and obviously his assistants as well. They're obviously doing a really good job. I was nearly buying tickets to go to Watford, but then I looked at it and I'm 4 hours there, 4 hours back. I drive all week. I'm thinking it's a lot of driving to do on Saturday.
We go on the bus.
Have you seen how much the bus is?
Yeah, I have, and I do get that. I was chatting with somebody today about it. And when we were younger and the kids were little, we used to drive there and back in a day. But now it's because every time we say, have you seen how much it is? And John will say, it cost not even half that in petrol and blah, blah, blah. But yeah.
Lee puts that he's surprised. Sorry, Lee puts that he's surprised the club hasn't taken an injunction out against him entering Tiger Leisure stores. They'd be bankrupt without you, Lee, so they're definitely not going to do that. I think it was it about 51 quid to go on the coach this weekend?
I don't know. John books it, but we tend to book it for us and a couple of friends, and it's when you look at the credit card bill, it's 200 quid with the ticket because I know the Birmingham's something like 30 or 40 quid for the.
Well, I'll be good at Birmingham, and I will drive to Birmingham because it's a 2-hour drive, and it's not a bad drive at all. We've got a good place that we park there for Birmingham, so I've not got a problem. I will be going to Birmingham to do that one. We've already said that, but yeah, if they'd have made the coach 30 quid to go to Watford, I would have bought that ticket and that coach fare. So are the club doing it wrong? I don't think it'll be costing them 51 quid a person.
Well, they say it's AD because we go every time on the bus, and we have, and they said they made it no money on it whatsoever.
Yeah,
now,
I'd be surprised.
I agree with you. When you look at the pricing, there's a price for members and there's a price for non-members. So you would assume that the members' price is like rock bottom. Yeah. And the price if you're not a member, which is often quite 15 quid difference sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
You think, but it's the same with the tickets. And we shouldn't be punishing other clubs' fans, but it does seem really unfair when the likes of Sheffield Wednesday and whatever, and how much they're charging us, Coventry, what they charged us for tickets, when we're charging them a pittance really in comparison. So
I think that thing of like, if you're paying a certain price to go there, it should be the same price to come here, but you can't do that because you have to charge them the same as what you're charging for a match day ticket for a home supporter. Maybe the rules need changing slightly. And speaking of rules, I did see a thing on social media that the EFL are looking to put the championship to 8 clubs down to 8th place for playoffs. What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
I thought it was further than that. I thought there was going to 10th because you've still got your top 2 that will get automatic, and then it's 3rd to 10th, meaning the playoffs will be 8 teams rather than 4. Is that have I misunderstood that?
I don't know. Listen. I've read the same as you. Thanks to Enshep and thanks to Lee for telling me it was 42 quid for members. So yeah, maybe. I should have maybe bought it. I don't know, but yeah, no, I don't. I'm with you, Chris. I didn't understand it totally, but I did see that there was going to be more clubs in the playoffs than just your top 6. I mean, because it's usually 4 teams in there. Yeah,
if you're adding an extra 2 teams, then what if I'm doing the maths right? 2 teams would get a bye. The 4 teams below them would have to play off with the right. You're getting like the Super League, then, aren't you? Whereas if it's 8 teams, 8 goes to 4, 4 goes to 2, 2 goes to whoever wins that the final goes up.
I don't really agree with it, to be honest.
Ian says
I'm not a big lover of playoffs anyway, but
I don't know whether that's a bigger league that we're playing in now, Ian. I'm sure he's going to change it to 8th. Yes, well done, Ian. Go on then, Paul. You was having your say.
I just don't agree with it realistically. I've never really agreed with the playoffs. I know we've got up via the playoffs, so I should be thankful. But I don't really agree with it. I remember the year Newcastle played. I think there was 13 points clear of the next team. I think Sheffield. I don't know if Sheffield was. There was a few points clear, but not as many as that. And they didn't get through. And I don't. You've played all season. You've got in the top 3, and somebody from 6th. And if it goes down to 8th or even 10th, gets in on a couple of good games that they've maybe had. It's not really fair, I don't think. I never really agree with the playoffs. I know it creates a lot of interest and it's something to play for most of the, for a lot of the teams late on in the season, but it's unfair. Like last year, the top 3 was the best 3 teams in the league. Sunderland held onto the coattails, didn't they? But I thought, I don't agree with it.
I think the playoffs is great. I think it gives you that extra sort of push towards the end of the season to do something, and it would be a flat league if you didn't have the playoff situation. So I think that, to be honest, I think it's right at the moment. I wouldn't extend it to the 8th place. And I know as Hull City fans, you might say, well, we could get 8th this year and, then you're not going to get in the playoffs. But I think that, realistically, you've got to try and keep it to the top 6, to be honest. Your top 2 go up and then play off the 4. I think that's how I would keep it. But
if you look at the Champions League, for instance, Arsene Wenger, he was quite happy to finish in the top 4 just so they get in the Champions League. He's not really champions, are they? And it's just it seems as though they want more and more teams playing for, bigger fish sort of thing. It's just, I don't know. I feel a bit sorry for teams that do well, like Sheffield, like I say Newcastle a few years ago, and they don't get through the playoffs just because some other team has a couple of good games, and it just doesn't sit well with me after 40 odd games. If you've, what was the 3 or 4 points off the playoffs or something, off the going up automatically, so have to play the playoff situation. I know we have gone up via the playoffs, and I know they're interesting and exciting for the fans, but. And it is right, it's all money. That's all it is. It's all about money. But it's just the thing that I'd rather just automatically the top 3 go up and the bottom 3. They don't have a playoff in the Premiership to come down, do they? They don't say, well, the bottom 6 can play off or something like that.
Now you've got an idea, look. Man United might have come down last season with that idea, and that'd have been absolutely great. So I'm going with that idea. I think the Premier League should play off the bottom 6 to see who goes down. Or the bottom 2 come down, and then the next 4 play off to see who else comes down. That's a really good thing. That you've started something now. The Premier League are going to do it because it's a good money making thing. It gets an extra 6 games on that Sky television or whoever else is paying for it. And there you go. Prav will be in there with a bid, and they'll be saying, "Come on, bring it on. We'll have that this season." Looking forward to the bottom 4 playing off in the Premier League. And if you're a Man United fan, unlucky, you might end up in the Championship. That'd be good fun. Although they did get a win against Chelsea, which surprised me at the weekend. It's a good another game away this week, but then we've got 2 home games, I believe, on the trot. Then so Watford, they've not had a bad start to the season, and then the drop belows because we go and have a good win. So. That's, what do we all think? I'll come to you, Jan.
well, we're due a win there, aren't we? So I'm hopeful, but I don't want after the Lord Mayor's show sort of thing. So I'm just hope they're still up for it and they're still confident. My worry is if the team suss how we play on the wing. If we haven't got that outlet from Giles, it just worries me how we're going to sort of break teams down. And I say it every week. I still worry about the defence. But no, I think we should go there and at least expect to draw and hopefully come back with all 3 points.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. I think, it is that situation. And, Watford are a bad side usually, and they're usually there or thereabouts come the end of the season. So it won't be an easy game, Chris, will it?
No, I mean, it never is it? They're normally, us and Watford over the last few years, since we've got back up into the champ, have been fairly evenly contested games, both home and away, I feel. But they haven't had a great start. They've won 1, drawn 2, and lost 3. I can't remember who they've played against, but yes, again, they are the 21st in the table. But I think the way we're playing, if we can take that confidence that we've got from the weekend, and obviously that battling mentality that we've had, we've proved it against Oxford and then against Swansea away, battling draw with Coventry. There's definitely that mentality in the team. So I'm pretty confident we can go there and scrape a win by a goal, I reckon.
That means that Sarah would be happy because she wants a clean sheet, and we nearly had one on Saturday. It'd be so nice to get a clean sheet, James, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I've actually predicted a 2-0 win, so I'm hoping that we can get a clean sheet. Like Chris was saying, Watford have only won 1 game in the first 6. They've scored 5 and conceded 7, and most of their games are only kind of won or lost by 1 goal margins. So it's the same for the game. They've only won against QPR sort of towards the start of the season, and their manager's a bit of an unknown quantity. I mean, obviously, so was sort of Sergei to most of the rest of the league as well. But they've not got off to a good start, and the results they've had suggest they will probably be a quite defensively solid team. But I just think with our style of play, even if we're a bit off it, we can just by the fact that we can actually probably usually score at least 1 goal. We can beat anyone realistically in the league. So I do feel like we can back up what happened, the performance on Saturday, and I'll predict a 2-0 win.
I'd go with a 2-0 win straight away. I'd be really happy with that. And, I would take it straight away. I would take a 1-0 win. I'd take a clean sheet as well, because it'd be nice to get a clean sheet. Not had one yet this season, Jan.
No, and I thought we were going to get there. As you said, if he'd had a shout on Saturday, Jallo could have headed that or had more time to clear that ball, couldn't he, at the end? Yeah. A clean sheet would be good, but I don't want a 0-0 draw. I'd rather have I'd like 2 or 3 goals. Two's not enough. I won't be not nervous until we're about 3 up. So yeah, we need to 3.
Well, Paul likes 4 before he's not nervous.
Yeah, I'm with you, Paul. Yeah,
3 or 4 would be really, really nice, and it'd be great to get that many.
And the goal difference, it'd do that good, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Would do the goal difference good, because that's the only thing that's keeping us where we are, where we're on 8 points at the moment, but we're in the bottom of those 8-point teams, which is Swansea, Charlton and Portsmouth, all on 8 points as well. But our goal difference is letting us down slightly there. We're -2, Portsmouth -1, Charlton -1, and Swansea are +1. So that's why we're at the bottom of those. But it would be nice to get that goal difference, onto a 0 figure or even into a plus figure. That'd be really good. And that was the thing that sort of helped us a bit last season, was having a good goal difference all season. It sort of nearly gave us that extra point when you was coming towards the end of the season and people, looking at Hull City and seeing, can we overtake them? And that goal difference was the thing that was standing out for us, and maybe giving them that little bit of worry that they might not be able to beat that that goal difference. So, we need to try and get that. But I do think in what Sergei is doing at the moment, he is building a good team. I think that he's starting to get the players to buy into exactly what he wants them to do. He's not overcomplicating it like a certain German did last season. They are still moving a little bit, and there is still a little bit of rotation there, but he's not overcomplicating it like what Tim Volter did last season. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, Tim Volter, wasn't very good at all, was he, to be quite honest? I think Sergi's been really good. I think this season, to be fair, it's a very open league. I don't think there's any outstanding teams in the league. I know Middlesbrough started well, which you're going to have the odd team starting well, but I think every game we could do well. I think we've got a good team, a strong span in the team, and I think I could see us top 10 this year, to be quite honest, if we carry on with where we are. Because we've only, 6 games in? Half the players haven't played above a game or two, I would say. You know what I mean? And they're still doing well. We've got goals in nearly every game, apart from the Blackburn one, which, if the virus is right, obviously that probably was the problem. Every other game we look like scoring goals. Even then, I think we had chances against Blackburn. But not too many, but we had chances. I just think, there isn't an outstanding team in the league this year. I think it could well be one of them years when anybody's got a chance of going up. I mean, on Saturday, Saturday or Sunday, Oxford beat Bristol 3-1, didn't they? There's not an outstanding team in my eyes in the league, really. And I think, if you stick with the way we're playing, I don't see us being anywhere near the relegation zone, to be quite honest.
No, I mean, Middlesbrough are obviously the ones
wrong.
that are running away with it with 16 points at the moment, and they're 4 points clear of Stoke, who are in second with 12. But after that, 11 points, 10 points, 8 points. It's only a game, innit? It's not an awful lot, is it?
No.
I'm looking at some of the comments and laughing here. Chris says, never mention the chairman. It's bad luck. Sorry, Chris. Won't do it again. I was just trying to do a little bit of comparison. We did get a clean sheet. You're right, Marsh. We got a clean sheet at Coventry on the first game of the season. And I was there, so I remembered that one, shouldn't I? And Sarah says she wants to see Brandon Williams on the pitch soon. Well, he's not going to get in ahead of Giles at the moment with the way that Giles is playing, is he? So, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I don't think he gets in ahead of Giles at the moment. A couple of weeks ago, for defensive preferences, I did say I would probably have put Williams in. But at the moment, after watching that game on Saturday, I think if you support Giles in the right way, then you've got to sort of keep Giles on the pitch. What do you think to that, Jan?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, and my understanding is he's way off fitness as well. He hasn't played football for well over a year, has he?
No. So was the club right? Was the club right to give him a contract?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was a Man U youth player, wasn't he? And actually, he was sort of working his way up in there. But no, I mean, as far as I understand it, he's played for the 21s, I think, just for a short while. He's way off fitness, or he was way off fitness.
Yeah, you touched on it a little bit earlier, James. Giovanni back on Saturday. Really good to see Gio there. And me and Paul got stuck in his mob at the end of the game for people that was trying to get pictures and autographs with Giovanni. He got a good standing ovation by the crowd, and well deserved, James.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you say? He's just a legend, isn't he? I mean, he's still absolutely adored by the entire fan base. And I think something I mentioned on the pod on Sunday is that whether you're a fan young or old, you know Giovanni's name in this city. So he's just, and to be honest with you, he doesn't even really look like he's particularly aged. And
It looked like he could have played, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I mean, I would quite happily see him put that number 10 shirt back on, especially with Belloumi back out injured potentially now,
Yeah, and that was probably the only downside of the game at the weekend, Chris. Belloumi going out looked like a hamstring injury to me, and it's always going to happen when you get players coming back after they've been out for a long while, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing because he was looking up for the game, wasn't he? He was putting some nice balls in and some nice runs, and as I always like to see, he was getting back and supporting his fullback. So yeah, I mean, I was really excited when I saw him on the starting lineup. It's disappointing. Let's just hope it's just a week or two rather than your 4, 6, 8 weeks like
we're gonna blame you, Paul, for this anyway, because you said last week that you should start him. So I'm blaming you tonight and saying that it's your fault.
You've got to start him sometime. These injuries, he could have come on with 20 minutes ago and he could have done exactly the same thing. You
Agreed.
don't know. It's just trial and error. And I just felt he should start. Yeah, I mean, all right, proved wrong, but we haven't missed him in the sense of he hasn't played much. He's a good player. And it'd been good to get on the pitch, but with him being out the team for so long, I don't think we're going to miss him that badly.
We've got
because
options as well,
he's
haven't
been
we?
out for so long. I mean,
We haven't
you
heard
want
any feedback
to
yet
see.
either. I've not heard anything. Akintola maybe don't look as good as him, but he's a good backup to have. And he's still a little bit raw at the moment. I think he needs a little bit, but I do think looking at him, I think there's a player in there. You was nodding, Jan.
Well, Akintola or
Yeah.
No, you see, I'm not a fan. I'm yet to be convinced about him. So we'll see.
Do you not think there's a player in there, Jan?
There might well be, but I've not seen it well enough yet. I mean, when Belloumi came, I absolutely agree with what James was saying, that Belloumi was up and down that wing. Yeah, he was going forward, but he was going back and helping the fullback. I'm not sure Akintola, too many fancy steps and that for me. Just get on with it. That's what
But to me, I might be a bit different. I think that sometimes you need that little bit of difference, and you need to have somebody who's going to do a bit of a step over and stuff like that. And Dala was doing that as well. But you can see the difference between what Joseph brings you in that position on the wing rather than Ndala, can't you, James?
Yeah.
I know you're an Ndala fan, James.
I am. I do like him, but I mean, and I was a little bit apprehensive of putting Joseph in my starting 11 when I was predicting the lineup before the game. So I did have Ndala in there just because I purely thought that if he was playing at home, he might go for a little bit more creativity on the wings. But thank God that he didn't, because I mean, Kyle Joseph once again is starting to prove us wrong this season. I mean, I think the biggest problem for me with him previously was that it was all the work rate but no end product. But I mean, it seems like Sergei has completely transformed him as a player. And he seems to always be getting in the right positions now. And that's all we need from him, really. I don't care how he scores the goals as long as they hit the back of the net. And even if, he walks into the net essentially like he did on the weekend, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. Like I say, he always runs himself into the ground, and that's always going to win dear players to the fans. But like I said, now we're actually starting to see goals from him as well. You can't fault the guy, can you, really?
Well, Sergei said that, they've been working hard with Joseph after the interview after the game. And he said that, they've still got work to do with him, but he is starting to get there. And, I think you look at it, don't you? We're all raging, absolutely happy about Oli McBurnie. He's got 3 goals and 3 assists. Joseph's now got 2 goals to his name. He's only 1 behind McBurnie. Is it time to sort of give him a bit of a break, Chris?
Oh, McBurnie?
No, Joseph.
Give him a break as in a running the team?
No, like give him a break and not be as hard, because there is some fans that have been harsh on him on social media.
I see where you're coming
like
from,
that.
yeah. No, I mean, like we touched on at the beginning of the show, he deserves his plaudits. I said a number of times last year, I think it was when he was getting played under Sellers and he was playing him on the left. He always puts in a shift. He runs himself into the ground. And as James just said, the fans will always applaud that. And you can never, ever question his work rate. He just was missing that end product last year. We all now know that he was playing hamstrung with an injury last year. He's had a full pre-season. And I don't think it's coincidental. I think it's by design he's popping up where he is, because they know how potent Giles is in attack. So they're letting him go inside to create that double striker, knowing Giles can get up and put the quality crosses in. And it's working, and again, it goes down to the versatility and great understanding of tactics from the manager and his team. So yeah, I've never been one like I try not to ever be getting on the back of players or anything, because they're our team, and I'm always like, we should just support them. So I don't ever get it if people are knocking a Coyle or a Giles or a Joseph. People have bad games, people make mistakes, but yeah, with Joseph, I don't think it's ever been warranted. We all have seen he didn't have that end product, but yeah, like James has rightly said, 2 goals now, in 3 games. So yeah, does he deserve a run in the team? Absolutely, I think, yeah.
And Chris says, how many players are proving us all wrong? Proves Sergei is the manager that we needed for a long time. And I agree. And I did say that when I said that we should sack the other manager that's now been sacked by Sheffield United. I might just say it again. I was right. You was wrong. That's all I'm going to say.
Was coming in though, did you?
You what? Sorry, Dad?
You didn't know Sergio was coming in. You didn't know who was coming in at the time.
I didn't,
so...
and it was obviously a risk of who was coming in. But I do think we have got the right manager in the place now.
Yeah, I think he's an excellent manager, to be quite honest.
Sarah says that Mason Bairstow's doing really well at Bolton. He's doing well. The fans have really took to him at Bolton. He's doing really well. And it might be the thing that he needed to go on loan this season because, ultimately it's bringing him on as a player. And let's face it, Carl Joseph was doing it in League One. It is different in League One to the Championship, but he's doing really well there. And I hope that he continues to do well throughout the season. And it could be one of them where if we have got a clause where we can bring him back in January, if he was needed to come back, then you might look at that from what he's done at Bolton this season. What do you think, Jan?
No, I don't. I don't think he'll come back. I think they'll sell him. One of the big pundits was on tonight as well, saying that they were convinced that they were going to Bolton were putting an offer for him. I mean, maybe he's found his level, but I feel sorry for the kid because he's been here, there, and everywhere, hasn't he? And it's never actually worked anywhere, or he's never got a proper run in the team. And then he scored that goal, didn't he, just before he went on loan? And we're all saying, well, why is he gone?
Yeah.
But actually, it's working. So, I mean, I think we're in a win-win. I mean, if he comes back and he's had all that experience and he's got a lot more confidence, great. If he don't want to come back and we have to sell him, it looks as though we're going to get a decent price for him. So I think we're in a win-win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see who he gets in the team ahead of, to be honest.
No,
that's the other thing. Would he want to come back to sit on the bench? For 30 grand a week in the pouring rain, I'd sit on the bench forever. But they want to play, don't they? So,
well, if you've got out about you want to play, Jan, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely, you do want to play if you've got anything about you. So, I agree. We will talk a little bit. I know it's well ahead of the curve, and they've got a podcast going out on Sunday, which will talk more about it. But we've got a home game next Tuesday, which we won't get to talk about before that because the pod's going to be on Wednesday against Preston. And we ain't got a great record against them, Chris, have we?
No, they're like a bit of a bogey team for us, aren't they? They don't ever have any massive names in the squad, but reputationally wise. But they've always got a team full of players that just work hard and graft. I mean, they've got a few ex-City players, haven't they? And I forget the striker's name that used to be at Man United and stuff that we had for a while. But yeah, they always seem to be well organised, graft and hard to break down and can nick a goal on the break. So yeah, but again, going back to what we've just been talking about for the last few minutes, I'm confident we can get a result when they stroll into the our home stadium next week, and we'll turn them over. I actually think if we play to our potential, we could please Paul, we could put 3 or 4 past them.
And they're in fifth. In fifth position at the moment, Paul, in the league, they've got 11 points, so they're 3 points ahead of us. Theoretically, if we won on Saturday and they won on Saturday and then it comes back to the MKM, then we could go above them next week, couldn't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a tough game. They're a good championship team. Like, there's a few good championship teams about, your Blackburns and obviously them, the other teams. They're a good team. They're going to be hard to beat. They don't let many goals in usually. It's they're quite tight, and as Chris said, they're well organised. So it's not going to be an easy game. But I think we've got goals in us. We've got a few people scoring goals, and if you've got a chance of scoring a goal, you put the other team a little bit on the back foot. I think last season they'll have come here thinking if they play, I don't know when they played us, but thinking they've no goal threat. So it makes it a lot easier for them, doesn't it? But when we have got a goal threat, it makes it harder for them. So I think we can turn them over. That's saying we will. It'll be a tough game. I think maybe 1-0, but I can't see why we're worrying about Preston or Watford, to be honest. I think we could get 2 good results there if we play out like we are and get the goals.
Let's hope so. 2 good results would make me and you happy, James. We've got a minute and a half left, by the way.
I think we're forgetting that last time Preston actually visited the MKM, we turned them over 2-1. I know it was as a result of 2 penalties, but I mean, considering, like you say, the record against them, I mean, you never know what could happen. And they're one of the more informed teams in the league at the moment. And obviously, is it Paul Heckingbottom, their manager, or is he at Oxford?
Don't ask me.
Okay.
You'll
Yeah.
know more
I
than
think
me,
he's
James.
Oxford, isn't he? Oxford.
I can't.
I might be wrong.
Rowett's Oxford, I think it is Paul Heckingbottom. Yeah, like I say, his teams are always organised and they're usually quite hard to break down. But I mean, it'll be a tough game, and most of the games this season are going to be, as you say, the league's really open. So
Heckingbottom is the manager. There you go. I did that quickly for you.
Thank you. No, yeah, I think we can get a result, but I think it'll be a tough game.
Tough game, I agree with you. 47 seconds left on the podcast. Good to have you tuned in tonight. Sorry if you've had a problem tuning in on Twitter. We've got a problem with our stream on there at the moment. We'll try and get that fixed before next week's episode. If you've joined us on YouTube or Facebook when you're normally on Twitter, then hopefully Twitter will be back up and running properly next week. Thanks for coming on this week, John.
You're welcome. I look forward to it.
Good to see you, James.
Yeah, good to see you as well, Eddie. Thank you.
Chris, stop skiving now.
Yeah, I'm back. Should be good for next week as well.
Brilliant. And Paul, you stop skiving as well.
Right, so it's a scarved.
Good to see you all. We'll be back next week, 7 o'clock here on the Hull and Back podcast and on Humble Wave Radio with Tiger Talk. As Lee says, see you all Saturday and up the Tigers. Have a great week, everybody.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.